So in the previous session, we learned about georeferencing, and there we georeferenced the different type of maps. And in the last session, we also georeferenced a map that was topo sheet. The difference between the earlier maps, for example, the map of India and Uttar Pradesh and topo sheet, was that topo sheet was having decimal figures. The coordinates were not the absolute number, so it requires some consideration, and you need to be a little cautious when you are using the coordinates which are in decimal number, where we were putting space in between the figures and the decimals, minutes and degrees. So that we have already done. Now we proceed further with digitizing a map, and we had completed the point digitization in our last session. As you know, that digitization is the process of converting geographic data into digital form. And during this process, spatial data on maps or images are traced, as we have seen in the point entity. Today we will look into the line entity, and it can be also the polygons or area entity. So in this session, we would learn the how to digitize the line entity. So for line layer creation, I would say line is basically used to represent any linear network. You have seen when we discussed at length during the theoretical aspect of representing the geographic entities, where we said that the geographic realities can be point, line and area. Point is where it does not have any length or width. Line is linear feature. So all the linear features, for example, road, railway line, drainage, all these are linear features. So that we would be representing now, that we would be creating, that we would be digitizing, or in other words, vectorizing the map using the QGIS software. So for that matter, to create a line layer, again you have to go to the layer. There you have to pull down the menu. From the menu bar, it will appear as a click on the new shapefile layer, and there new vector layer is to be taken, and that way when you will do this kind of window will appear. Here you need to select, after naming the file, the type needs to be line. So because we want to create a line map, so this is very important. And the coordinate reference system, generally we take as for the base map. If the base map is georeferenced in a certain coordinate system, we would continue with that, because we would be copying the ground realities, the map realities into the system from that original map. So we would continue with the same kind of CRS, coordinate reference system, on which the base map has been georeferenced. So in our case, it is the WGS 84. So I have written as WGS 84. So this would be the first step. The second step would be, now you need to add attribute. So there you need to name the whatever attribute you want to add. So this is also required. And then what kind of attribute it is, whether it is a text information or information in the form of digit, that kind of thing is also need to be clarified to the system. So in type you need to clarify that whether it is a text data or what it is. You may, when it is a line feature, you may add new attribute as road. So you can add road, or any linear entity if you are representing, say, transmission line, electricity supply line. So whatever it is, you need to write it down, to select it down. And then you also need to identify the type of it, whether it is a digital information. For example, if you are representing a river with the volume of water, so that would come with some kind of figures. So that figures that will come in some digit. For example, it may be 1000 Q6. So you have to insert 1000 figure. So that figure needs to be with the whole number. And if it is in digital data also, decimal data also, then 100.8. So that way you need to select the decimal number. So whole number or decimal number, that you also have to select. When you would select that, add to the attribute list, when you will click it, you click on OK, and then this kind of toggle digitizing toolbar will appear, and from there, there you have to select the pen symbol. When you would select that, then since it is a line entity, so you have to select this particular symbol, and this will give you an that will give you an access to digitize in the line format information. Okay, so when you will do this kind of dialog box will come. Now trace the cursor along the line. So you just need to click the cursor onto any line and then keep on moving, and wherever you want to add vertices. Now that's very important. We want to be lesser number of vertices, but wherever there is some bend or change in direction in the linear feature, then you have to click there, so that will be the point from where the system will take the different path. It won't be straight, and then wherever you will click next, so between the two vertices the line would be straight. So that you need to take into consideration. So you have to move the mouse and click wherever you need to make bends into the line entity. And then when you are completing, wherever the line entity is finished or it is over within the screen, then you have to click the right button. When you will click the right button, it will appear like this. Then you have to give the ID and the name. So here you can give any name. If you have selected road there, so here you would give the name of the road. It can be, say, GT road or Ramghat road, any road of that particular which is already named in your base map, that you can insert. So this attribute window will open, and you have to fill appropriate attributes that you have to do. And then there is one more important thing which I would like to highlight. This is you need to do in the settings. You see, this settings is when you are digitizing linear features which are very complex. Complex in the sense that there are many roads, and many of them, they are close to each other. They are intersecting each other, or they are overlaying each other. So in that case, you need to use the setting and snapping option. This is important because that way they won't be cutting, and whatever setting you would select for snapping option, that would be very important. For example, here you need to assign the snapping tolerance also. So if your cursor will come close to any previously drawn line, then it will whatever is the tolerance limit you have set, according to that it will take action. So it won't overlap. It will give you indication that you are going very close to that previously drawn line or previously created vertex, and you are very close to it. Either you should be careful, you should be away from that vertex, or you need to click on the same vertex. That kind of snapping option would be very important for digitizing. That you need to understand. And then check out the box. So the left of the road network layer and set mode to vertex and segment. That is what you would, as I have said, that this tolerance limit has been selected here as 5 pixels. So depending on the scale, pixel would be taken, and that way this will be taken. So 5 pixel would be good enough, and this will enable us for better topological editing, because they won't be clashing, they won't be intersecting each other. So that is what you also need to be very careful. So these are finer points, but this would be when you are digitizing a lot many geographical entities, then only it will be required. Otherwise, for simple editing, it may not be so important, but you need to specify the tolerance limit. Although the system also had generally 5 pixel or 10 pixel tolerance limit, but if you will specify, then specifically the system will take that much of tolerance. So this way you can complete your vectorization in line format. So this snapping tool will be very important to get an accurate intersection of the roads. Once you finish the digitizing of roads in the topo sheet, save the edits and stop editing by clicking on toggle either editing button, or you can go to the menu bar and save it there. So that way the line entity would be saved.